Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today's guest is a storyteller in every sense of the word. Taiwan Davis is an author, ghostwriter, journalist, community leader, and he is the founder of Ty Davis Services and Gap Bridgers 316. He is the author of the book Broken Not Forgotten. He has a book series, and his focus is to help people find their voice, preserve their stories, and strengthen their communities. He's from right here in Wichita, Kansas. So we're going to be talking to Ty about everything that he's up to and going to be up to. So Taiwan, welcome to the show.
Man, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody listening.
Absolutely. Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Man, a little bit about me. I was born in Tulsa, but moved here when I was about 3 years old. Then been back and forth. About um, seventh grade, I began wanting to be like Tupac. All eyes on me. Shorty want to be a thug, right? And the choices that led me down that path ended up me battling addiction, incarceration, becoming a gang member, um, in and out of prison from 16 to 35. Even though I was brought up in the church, you people could be brought up in the church, but that don't mean the church is in them, right? And it's really not even about the church; it's about Christ, a relationship. But I didn't really embrace my relationship with Christ until 2016, going to 2017. I was in prison in Oklahoma, and everybody around me had 25 years or longer. I was there for 5 years probation, but I had gotten in trouble on a minimum, so I got sent up in security. Even then, I wasn't doing right. I was still hustling, still selling jumpers, which was little, joints of weed, running the store, still gambling, still getting high. I had started doing meth. I started doing K2, smoking weed. I was doing a bit of little everything. I was like, Lord, just help me. Lord, I need you to come in and change me, change my heart. And man, God really showed himself strong that day. The next day, it was January 1st, 2017. It was new year, new me. Seriously, a lot of times we'll say new year, new me. But if we don't change our mindsets, nothing ever changes, right? But I remember everybody began saying, "Hey, you getting out soon?" And I wouldn't tell them, but I was getting out soon. But that wasn't the change. um, because like I said, I've been in and out of prison, um, you know, 10 months here, 10 months there. I'll be right back on the run in county jail. But come April 4th, 2027 will be 10 years, not 10 months, but 10 years. I've been free of change, man. And I just use the gifts that God has given me to glorify Him, give people hope. I'm actually part of a ministry called Hope for the Hood. So instead of giving the community dope and poison them and being a problem, my focus is now being a part of the solution, giving people hope and using the gifts that God has given me.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your book, Broken Not Forgotten. Tell us about that book. I know it's part of a series, and tell us about what inspired that title.
Okay, so I'm gonna rewind just a little bit. So yes, Broken Not Forgotten is part of a series in the Shadows of Faith. It's my first one of the series, but it's my third book I published. My first book was The Change Within Me, because when I was in prison, I began seeing some changes that I thought needed to be made. But I knew the first thing I had to change was myself. So I gave the title The Change Within Me. That was published in 2018. And then about 2023, I published We are made. Made is an acronym standing for motivated, active, dedicated, and experienced. The complete title is We Are Made from the Past for Our Future. And what I've seen a lot of times is we go through situations in life, we allow them to make us bitter instead of better. We sometimes think that our past disqualifies us when really it really prepares us. So some things I've learned just writing those two books is that everybody had a story. And so I shared the second one in hopes of giving other people the courage to share their testimonies because it says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony, right? So my first book, poetry. My second book was nonfiction. Now this is the first time I'm writing a fiction book. Uh, it's uh, it's about six different characters. You might be able to count more in there, but six of them really have concrete parts in the book. Eventually want to make it a play. I'm just going to read the back real quick, okay?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It says, some wounds don't heal overnight. Some shadows follow you long after the storm has passed. In a city where pain runs deep and survival often comes at a cost, broken lives begin to collide in ways no one could have imagined. Zach is fighting wounds he hides behind success and control. Rochelle is a mother doing everything she can to hold her family together as pressure mounts around the people she loves most. Dre stands at the crossroads between loyalty, the streets, and the possibility that something greater is calling him. As love, betrayal, violence, trauma, and faith collide, every choice carries consequences that reach far beyond the moment. This is not a polished fairy tale or a softened version of life. These are real streets, real struggles, real consequences, and real encounters with faith. Broken Not Forgotten is a raw, urban, Christian suspense drama about family, faith, redemption, and the fight to find light in the darkest places.
Beautiful. Well, I know that you have built a career around helping people tell their stories. So talk about what you've learned about humanity, after hearing so many stories from different people in various walks of life.
I appreciate you asking me that because it goes also to the book that no matter where we find ourselves at, we're never too far from the grace of God, right? And we all have a story. Some of our stories is we never have the same story per se. We might have some things that we relate to each other, but our stories is almost like our fingerprints. No story is identical, right? But the thing is, we all have them. So a lot of times there's freedom in our stories. And as we share our stories, we never know what we just came out of. Somebody may currently be going through, and they just need to know that there's hope that they could come out too. And even being a writer, what I do, I try to excavate people's emotions. So when a person works with me, I don't like to make all books sound the same. I want the book written in your voice, expressing your emotions and your words. I just come along and partner with you to tell your story because it's your story. It's not my story. So we have to embrace our story. We have to almost be proud of our story because there's power in our story. It's it's His glory for His story, if that makes sense.
Let's take a quick break.
In Kansas, blind vending operators are vanishing without a trace. No bodies, no witnesses, only silence. Detective Michael Miguel thought he had seen everything, but this case pulls him into something far darker, a web of institutional corruption so deep it was never meant to be uncovered. When vulnerable blind people disappear and bureaucracies close ranks, one question remains: who will fight for justice? As Miguel digs deeper, he uncovers a conspiracy reaching the highest levels of power, a system that exploits the very people it was designed to protect. The truth is buried in paperwork, hidden behind closed doors, guarded by those who have everything to lose. Some conspiracies hide in plain sight. This one hides in the dark. Iron Cane Media presents The Blind Conspiracy, written by Mikhail Battles Sr., available now on Amazon.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Gap Bridgers 316. You are deeply involved in your community. So what gap
Yes, yes.
what gaps
I
do
would
you
share this. So in 2022, I was going through a dark season of my life, and I was actually even looking for counseling at this time. But my pastor had kind of directed me to this organization called HopeNet, and due to me and my wife's just income, we didn't qualify for the counseling. So I was like, okay. So then they referred me to the Getting Ahead class. I was like, what's this getting ahead class? And I was like, didn't you just say I don't qualify for this for discounted counseling? It's like it's more than a financial class. So I decided to just sign up and see what this class was about, right? But when I was going through the class, they had this map that showed the 10 poorest zip codes in the city of Wichita. And the 67214 was the poorest zip code, not only in the city of Wichita, but in the whole state of Kansas. So I was like, wow, there's a big gap, you know? There's people that have resources and don't know where to start, don't know how to help. They want to help. Then there's people that need resources. They don't know where to go for the resources. They don't know about the resources. So what can I do to um, help bridge this gap? So that was Gap Bridgers was formed. Gap Bridgers actually is an acronym. Want to know what it is?
Yeah, yeah, tell us what it is.
It is godly ambassadors proactively building relationships, initiating dialogues, and generating empowerment resources and solutions. So that's the acronym and the mission statement all in one. What we're doing, we're just being ambassadors that build relationships, that have those tough conversations. So right there, I want to pause and say thank you for having me on podcast so we can have this conversation. Then also after generation, after the conversation, generating empowerment resources and solutions. We don't want to just talk about the problem. We want to solve the problem. So it's me, my wife, um, hope she hear this, and then we have five other core members. This year we have partnered with the Urban League, and we have begun to really focus on helping the youth, but also small businesses and just bringing people together. At this time in the world, even more so, uh, man, the threat of us being so divided and standoffish and so in our comfort zone for either reason, be it politically, be it racially, be it economically. Sometimes that's the propaganda to keep us divided. But I say together we stand, divided we fall. We need unity in the community.
Well, what gaps do you feel that are affecting communities the most, and what can ordinary people do to bridge those gaps?
I think one thing right now, honestly, is the political. Um, you know, uh, it starts from the head and go down, right? So we should allow politics to divide us because at the end of the day, we still gotta live in our communities. We still go to church with each other. So how if we gotta know what we can control and what we can't control. We do also gotta go beyond our own understanding. So we got to know how different choices affect not just us, but affect others. And when we're able to look beyond our own perspective, then we can have sympathy and empathy for others and better understand and utilize each other's strengths and cover each other's weaknesses. So that's one. I think another one is the generational gap. A lot of times, I came up in the age as do do as I say, not do what I do. But we need more examples and we need more people willing to listen. A lot of young people, they feel unheard, and part of that is they're not being heard, but a part of that is respect. So respect is a two-way street, as we know. So us older people need to respect the younger generation, and the younger generation need to respect us because this is 2026, and a lot of things have changed. When we want to learn how to operate our phones, a lot of times we go to the younger people, right?
Absolutely.
So there's things that they can learn from us, and there's things we can learn from them. So being able to embrace each other's strengths and go back to respecting other people's struggles. I have a acronym for. I love acronyms. I have 100 of them that downloaded at one time. But props, personally respecting other people's stories. I think when we respect other people's stories, I think that helps bridge the gap.
Okay, well, let's talk about your journalism career. I know that you report on real life events, so kind of tell us about that and tell us how you balance facts with the emotional truth behind every story.
One thing I've learned as a journalist, I have to stick to the facts. I can't put my opinion in it. I write for the Community Voice. That's the biggest Black publication here in Wichita. You look it up, Google it. We also have papers all over a lot of drop sites. If you ever see The Voice, I'm sure you'll see an article I've written in there. Um, but yeah, I will say that journalism is not about basing the stories off my opinions, but just sticking to the facts. But being able to really do ground level work to highlight locals heroes, I call them, because anybody in the community serving the needs of others is really a hero. And also local organizations that are platforms and serving the needs and just caring for people at a trying time. A lot of people are going through some trying times. A lot of people are kind of in just some tight situations that they might not know what to do. They need resources. So, just being able to highlight the organizations and local heroes is truly an honor to do the work that I do.
Well, when your life is finally over, what do you hope people what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Man, I hope to leave behind the fact that I accomplished my mission. I left my imprint on earth, my fingerprint on earth. I hope people say, man, he loved God, he loved people. Um, he had a rough start, but he turned it around, and you know, he knew how to give people grace. He knew how to give people encouragement. I also hope to leave behind a financial blessing for those close to me. But one thing I've learned, legacy is not what you leave to people, it's what you leave in people.
Well,
Miles
go ahead.
Monroe said the richest place on earth is the graveyard. So many people are supposed to start books or write books, start businesses, sing songs, but they never got around to it. They kept on putting it off for tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. So anybody listening to this and they're sitting on an idea, they're waiting for circumstances to improve, I would encourage them to step out in faith and sky's the limit.
Well, as a journalist, if you could sit down with an historical figure or interview somebody that you never met, who would it be, and what question would you ask them that nobody else has asked?
Mm. I would say two people. One person will be my Lord and Savior. Oh, if I wouldn't have to, I mean, just to sit down in the flesh, yeah, we are able to pray, but that would be cool, I think. Another person I think would be Martin Luther King Jr. I would ask him what did he see 2026? Did he ever think that far ahead where he saw 2026? Is it the way that he thought it would be? Is this what he uh is this what he went to the front lines for? A lot of people say it's too far gone to turn back. Is it truly too far to go, turn back? Um, and I would just sit down and have a conversation as a journalist. I'm sure I could come up with questions as he began talking, and I would just sit and take notes. He's somebody that definitely here he died about 50 years ago, some 50 years ago, and we still remember him, right?
Most definitely. So yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard nobody say they would like to interview Jesus Christ. That would be crazy to have him on a podcast.
Hey man. Yeah, definitely.
So tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on that listeners need to be aware of.
So August 29th, we are having a fundraiser. Delano Diner, Smoking Barbecue Diner. Gap Bridgers 316. We're partnering with community vendors and Beth Rush and Monty Rush to help Monty Rush. He had his due to a flesh eating virus. He lost both his legs, so we're trying to raise funds so he can get prosthetic legs. And then also not being able to work, they have fell behind in bills. So that's one August 29th, and that's in the parking lot of Ace Hardware. I believe that's Harry and Woodline. Before that, we have a event at Chicken and Pickles, should I say, August 23rd. I want to say from 6 to 8. It's called the Jesus Rally. I've been asked to uh, be one of the poets. September 19th at Century 2, we're having Recovery Idol. I just auditioned for that. Hopefully I make it to the next round, but still, even if I don't, I think that's gonna be a good event. It's almost like American Idol, right? I know there's some events at the Carl Brewer Center because we are continuously trying to plan events for the youth. We keep on talking about the youth is going down the wrong road and all this. So we're trying to partner with different organizations uh, under, under the Youth Advisory Council that meets at the Urban League, I believe every third Wednesday, to give the youth fun events to do. Because sometimes that's what it is. They said the idle mind is the devil playground. Sometimes people just bored. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, so
And
people can keep up with everything that you're up to, throw out that contact info.
yes, first thing you could look up our website at TyDavisServices.com, or you can reach out to me, text 316-773-8405.
All right. We'll close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to talk about that you forgot to touch on, that I forgot to touch on, or any thoughts you have for the listeners.
One thing, man, I've got a lot of good reviews from my first installment of In the Shadows of Faith series, Broken Not Forgotten. I have a sales goal in mind. You can feel free to look me up on Amazon. Ty Davis is the name I write under. That's my pseudonym. It's a in the shadows of faith, broken not forgotten. People were already asking about book two. Before we could get book two, which is Grace Under Pressure. Help me get book one into the hands of as many people as possible. If you have read it, please pass it on or just give a word like, man, this book is good, or reach out if you didn't like it and tell me. Um, I'm trying to continue to grow as a writer. One thing I will eventually like to do after book three is published, I would like to make it a play or a movie. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I would just encourage those, just like I dream big. I feel like you could dream big as well. God loves you. out of the reach of grace, of God's grace, out of God's love. We all make mistakes, but we shouldn't let our mistakes make us. And when we're born to stand out, we'll never fit in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ty Davis Services is the website, tydavisservices.com. Please check him out. Check out that book. Check out that series. If you're in the local Wichita area, you know, support Gap Bridgers and Ty Davis Services, and keep up with everything that he's up to. Check out them articles in the Community Voice. Also visit www.curveball337.com to keep up with everything Living the Dream. Share the website and the show to everybody you know. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. And Ty, thank you for all that you're doing for the community. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
For more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Until next time, keep living the dream.